In the year 2003, Microsoft released a PC version of Halo 1. Despite having a few slight issues such as no initial custom map support, this was later added, and Halo 1 is still a popular game played online. Even after GameSpy shut down, I wouldn't be surprised if there are still people playing it online. It was a success, many people bought it, the custom edition became big too, many people also pirated it, but it was a big success, and many people still play Halo PC online today, even though GameSpy is shutting down in a month or two. Halo 2 for Vista, on the other hand, was the complete opposite. When it was announced, many people were excited. After all, it would finally be a chance to play Halo 2 on the PC. Of course, it launched, and it was a total disaster. And it's possibly one of the worst PC ports I have ever played. How bad is this? The first problem is Microsoft decided to use it to push new technology. The game requires Windows Vista 7 or 8 to run. It will not run on anything older. The second problem with the game, from the first thing, you'll notice it uses games for Windows Live. This was Microsoft's attempt at trying to port Xbox Live to the PC. And considering how Xbox Live was the gold standard for online for consoles, what could possibly go wrong? The answer? Everything. Microsoft basically decided to use games for Windows Live as basically a poor attempt at getting PC developers onto Xbox because Microsoft barely supported it. And they didn't even release too many PC games with it themselves, and many third parties didn't use it because other services like GameSpy were better, and Steamworks caught up and pretty much replaced games for Windows Live. So, how bad is Halo 2 for the PC? Let's find out by actually trying to install it. The first thing you'll notice is you get an option to play it. This is unusual with disc-based PC games, as most of the time they install. However, similar to a concept Microsoft and others would try later on with the PS4 and Xbox One, you could actually start playing it while it installed. The problem is, this was incredibly buggy, and most of the time you'd end up with corrupt files that would have to be reinstalled. So, the only way to really install it is to wait a while it installs, just like most games. The game also features Windows-style activation, where you have to activate the game. There's also a limit to how many times you can activate the game, and the game is known to be very picky about this, and Microsoft will also give you only one new key, and there's no way to deactivate the game like with Secure ROM. The first problem comes with updating. With Windows Vista, an old version of Games for Windows Live will load up, and you'll have to install an update for Games for Windows Live and then the game. Both of these take a while and require the game quitting twice to load. On Windows 7 and 8, you'll get an error message about live gaming, and you'll have to upgrade Games for Windows Live before you install the game for the game to actually work, making it even more annoying because you have to know how to do it. And of course, another problem is that the updating is known to be glitchy, and I've heard of many friends, while Games for Windows Live updating worked for me, I've heard of many friends and have had issues and times where the updating isn't so smooth as with this computer. Now, of course, I have a higher end computer in this video, but as you can see, Games for Windows Live normally isn't this quick when it comes to updating. I got lucky. However, normally, you'll be waiting and waiting for it to download. And I have had many friends who've told me about how bad Games for Windows Live is when it comes to this, and this hasn't been fixed ever. The user interface feels copied straight out of the Xbox version. While on the PC version of Halo 1, it is somewhat designed for the mouse. On Halo 2, many of the options are small, just like on a console screen, being scaled up. Even the profile name has areas where you can select and type it in with a console area, just like on the original Xbox version. It feels just like you're entering it on a console. And in fact, even the menu is straight out of the console version. And especially when you jack the resolution up, it doesn't scale, as you'll see. See, look how small it can be compared to the rest of the screen. It does this for some reason. Another thing about Halo 2 for Vista is the fact that, basically, Halo 2 for Vista is unoptimized. Despite only looking like an Unreal Engine 2 game, it requires a lot of hardware to run. Even though it marginally looks better than Halo 1, and the game can't scale down as much either like Halo 1 can, to run on even old GPUs such as the Intel 845 series. The game will detect if you're using the keyboard or the controller, as the game does support 360 controller support just like many games released in 2007. It will detect your 360 controller and even display 360 button prompts. However, if you use a 360 controller, you also get an unintended side effect, which can lead to throwing off the already messed up balance of online. Halo 2 for Vista has a feature called Controller Aim Assist. Just like the console version, you'll notice that the game sticks when you're aiming. You'll move left and right without even having to touch the control sticks, and the game will actually aim for you. Just like a console game. It will stick, lock on, and even look for you. I'm not even touching the stick, as you can see. I'm just holding the controller with one stick, pressing A, and as you can see, it's moving by itself. While when you use mouse and keyboard, it disables it. However, holding down a bumper that's useless, such as the voice chat bumper, will actually cause the game to look for you and give you free aim assist even with mouse, throwing off the already warped balance of Halo 2. The renderer is glitched up as well due to the bad optimization. For example, the frame rate's 60, but the second you go into a server browser, no matter how high-end your computer is, you'll notice the frame rate will dip into the 10s and 20s. And this is a GTX 760M, and look, it's only getting 10 to 12 FDFs because of the bad optimization. Halo 2 for Vista also has a buggy frame rate. If you don't use a program called FPS limiter to limit your frame rate, your game's frame rate will bounce all over the place, even though your mouse is moving slowly. And it does this a lot. For example, on my GTX 260 desktop, the frame rate bounces all over the place when I don't use FPS limiter, and it causes the mouse looking to be jittery and unplayable, along with the normal frame rate micro stuttering you normally see in this game because of the bad porting. Especially considering that this was released the same year as Crysis, and despite this, happens to be a port off an original Xbox game, this is pathetic. And I'm not even kidding, this isn't edited in any way. This is how bad the porting is. And look, I'm getting 200 FPS, as you can clearly see, and it stutters and the frame rate bounces all over the place. I wish I was kidding. Did I mention, look at that sudden connecting to session glitch? Another rendering engine glitch is similar to big rigs over the road racing. Certain things, such as the taillights in a Warthog, will actually shine through your weapon, as you can see here with the battle rifle. This also happens with Warthogs in the game as well. But now onto the multiplayer. The multiplayer is pretty much the same as Halo 2, other than there's a server list. As you can see, the gold lock icons are because when the game originally came out, you actually had to pay to do basic features. And did I mention that there were no server browsers like with Halo 1 or other GameSpy games? The game itself is pretty much the same as Halo 2 on the Xbox, other than that, with most of the DLC, and buggy custom map support. With Halo 2 Vista, the custom map editor was broken. And did I mention that the tags were locked so you couldn't edit the tags? Which basically meant custom weapons was a real pain, and you couldn't modify the maps that came with the game because of the anti-cheat trying to block against original Xbox style cheats. This did not, however, prevent against stuff such as the cheats with editing the memory, which were most cheats on the PC. So it not only blocked mod support for many kinds of mods, but it also made it hard to actually ban cheaters because there was no CD key bans like in most games. You could only ban your IP and ban your gamer tag. And considering how hacks would change your gamer tag, this didn't work. Also, as you can clearly see, the red lights are shining through the back of the Warthog due to a renderer glitch because of how badly the game was coded. It also does not make use of any DirectX 10 functions whatsoever, and there have even been hacks to try to make this game run on XP. These were especially prevalent early on in the game's lifespan, because the game required Vista. Another multiplayer glitch happens when somebody joins the game, as the game will freeze up for a second and then keep going, because the game is so badly coded, it actually had to be updated every time Games for Windows Live was updated early on. And this is also why voice chat is broken in the game and does not work whatsoever, because a Games for Windows Live update changed the codec. To run a server on Halo 2 Vista, they made it so hard you actually had to have a CD key, which also had a limit on how many times you could use it, just like with the main version. And did I even mention, to make matters even worse, that even though the server would run on 2003, due to the CD key limit, it made it impractical to host a server. Custom maps were broken as well. For starters, the Halo 2 map editor is broken, and you cannot use a custom thumbnail because the first update removed that, because they were afraid somebody would put porn, as the first Halo 2 patch had to remove a hidden picture of a guy's butt. I'm not making this up. They had to remove that in the first Halo 2 patch because it caused controversy, and this is also why Halo 2 is delayed. Also, another thing is the fact that despite having all the restrictions, funny enough, it is still entirely possible to make an inappropriate map. Of course, nobody would do that but I've seen it with other games, so yeah. As for the maps themselves, because the map editor restrictions I listed, well, first off, not only is there a 50 map limit, but because of the map editor restrictions, many of the maps look like crap. And they play like crap too. And also, when somebody joins a game, they cannot download the map, unlike a Valve or Unreal game, and just like Halo 1. However, in the lobby, they can download the map, but it takes a while. Sometimes, because of the way the engine works, the map downloading can take a while, especially in a packed lobby with a bunch of people waiting to download the map. And even then, you're not likely to get many people into a game because they have to download the map before the game starts, which can lead to custom map games dying out fast. It doesn't help that there aren't too many good maps for Halo 1 either. Halo 2 either, unlike with Halo 1 Custom Edition, because of the crippled map editor and how most of the modding community decided to just mod Halo 1 because of this, and of how restricted Halo 2 was when it came to modding. Many custom maps, depending on the complexity, can have rendering issues on lower-end computers. As you can see, the game just froze up for a second because of the person joining. And to top it all off, the worst part about the game is the community. Every single lobby you'll go into is either BRs on Lockout or BRs and Swords on Coagulation or Blood Gulch. Those are the only two game modes people play. Apparently, people can't play Halo 2 well enough, so they have to put energy swords in every game type with the community. And that's what makes the game even worse than it already is. It could be worth tolerating a bad port if the game underneath it is alright, like with Saints Row 2, but with Halo 2 Vista, it's so bad, you're just better off playing the Xbox version. And you can get the Xbox version in most of the maps with the game for real cheap. There's a map disc for the original Xbox version, and there's, of course, the Xbox version. There's ways to play online, like with X-Link Kai. So just how bad is Halo 2 for Windows Vista? It's a train wreck. Compared to Halo 1, which was a fun game and a great PC port, which I guarantee people are going to be playing even after the shutdown with stuff like Game Ranger, Tungle, or alternate master lists, because I know those exist. Halo 2 is already dying out, like, fast. It's been basically mostly dead, most of the servers are empty, and did I mention that the cherry on top is that the community is so bad, every single game you get into is either going to be BRs on Lockout, or a BR sword on Coagulation. It gets old real fast, and boring. And all in all, this just makes Halo 2 an unplayable game. Sure, if you want to play Halo 2 on the PC, go get it, but that is if it's your only option, because you could already get it on the original Xbox, and of course, you can get it on, it plays on the 360, and I heard there's a rumor they're going to make a Halo 2 Anniversary as well. It's a rumor, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's real, considering how Halo 1 Anniversary was a success in sales. So all in all, skip Halo 2. There's no reason to play it, because you can just play it over the original Xbox with X-Link Kai. And I guarantee, even that is a better experience than playing Halo 2 for the PC, because the PC version is a joke. All in all, thanks for watching, subscribe for more, and please don't buy this game. Just don't. If you want a Halo game on PC, get Halo 1. If you want to play Halo 2, get it on the original Xbox, because there's no reason to get this game on the PC. And if you want to make maps, just get Halo 2, get Halo 1 on the PC. You can use free map editing software, unlike Halo 2, which requires you to buy an old version of 3ds Max just to make maps with. And the cherry on top, there's a crashing glitch that hasn't been fixed in years. And how does it occur? When you make the game display a character it's not supposed to. That is how bad this game is. I'd stay away from this game at all costs. Because there are better PC games, better first-person shooters, better anything that isn't Halo 2 Vista. Stay away from the PC version of this game, because it is terrible. Thanks for watching, and subscribe for more.